Imagine the fun you'll have at your wedding, one of life's most treasured moments. In each episode, hear from leading wedding professionals as they share with you insider tips and personal advice for a magical wedding. Welcome to the Indian Wedding Podcast. Here to help plan your wedding with style and grace are your hosts, Kunal and Jinal Sampat.
Hi friends, welcome to the Indian Wedding Podcast. This is Kunal and Jinal, your hosts, where our job is to help you create a meaningful and magical wedding. Our guest today is Sadia from Kismet Event Design. We were first introduced to Sadia's work at a South Asian bride event and were blown away by her craftsmanship. In this interview, Sadia shares with us the difference between event design and event decor. We talk about the value of Pinterest, Sadia's superpowers, that is bridal telepathy, how to select event designer, and much, much more. We truly enjoyed speaking with Sadia and hope you'll enjoy listening to our conversation as well. Please join me in welcoming the all-amazing Sadia to the Indian Wedding Podcast. So, Sadia, welcome to the Indian Wedding Podcast. Jinal and I are thrilled to have you on this show. It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm sure the audience on listening to the show is going to get a lot of value from your experience as an event designer and event person that makes events or weddings look really beautiful and magical. You're kind of the face of all magical weddings. That's kind of how I see it. So,
thank you.
Janelle, you want to?
Yeah, sure. No, I was just loving your introduction. That's so true. She's amazing event decor. So would like to start this conversation at a higher level. Can you explain what is event design to those who are not familiar with this term?
So I myself am an event designer. So I basically listen to a client, what they want, a bride and groom, a couple, and see what they have envisioned for their big day. And I basically come up with the concept, come up with the design, come up with the color scheme, come up with the layout. The whole entire vision is what I make it come into a reality. So I'm your person. I'm your connect pretty much for making your dream wedding happen.
So is event design different from event decor?
I consider decor different than design in the sense that, design is more educated and it's more complex. Design is I went to school for design. I have my background is in design. Design is I eat, breathe, and drink, design. Whereas in decor, I kind of imagine and nothing wrong with this, but a mom at buying silk flowers and stuff. Oh yeah, I do decor, So it's definitely for me part of my identity. Whereas that's pretty much what I consider design.
No, that's really useful because I was confused myself. I mean, I knew event design had to do something with the flow of the wedding, right? Event decor is just plastic, right?
Plastic.
So why should event design be important to brides and grooms? Especially if my mom can do decor, why should I hire a designer?
So I think in this day and age, everyone is all about Pinterest, which I kind of feel like is it's like a double-edged sword. It's great for conjuring up and copying designs, but it can waste so much of your time. I don't know if you know this, but compared to a professional, when a bride spends time researching her wedding, she spends four times as much, 120 hours researching stuff for her wedding before anything even happens. Whereas a professional can literally do all of that in 10 hours max, So it's kind of how do you value your time? Everyone has their specialty, right? When I get sick, I go to a doctor. I don't go to someone who I heard is really good at this, but is going to give me a discount. It's about appreciation for design. And for me, inspiration for clients and for couples come from the couple's love for each other. So when you're kind of regurgitating these ideas that you see off of Pinterest, it's very disingenuous to your identity, your love with your significant other. So I like to create unique scenarios and unique environments and unique, like, pretty floral designs for every couple that's different. I don't like to do the same design, and I don't like to copy stuff. And on top of that, back onto Pinterest, it's also, and also for me, like, when people come, like the brides come and they show me the Pinterest board, yes, it does help. It does help, but when they show me things and they have no idea, and they're so confused in their mind, they end up showing me conflicting aesthetics, like, oh, I want a mid-century, rustic, modern, farmland type of wedding. I'm like, what? Like, so when you
modern and farmland.
Exactly. So if you deal with like a professional designer, they help, hone in real quickly. For me, like, I hone in real quickly to what the client wants, and I make that happen. So I'm valuing your time, I'm valuing your aesthetic, I'm valuing your, your love for each other and making it uniquely yours.
That's beautiful. So how do you go about, like, making it unique to that extent? Like, what is it that you do that makes it so special? Yeah, unique. Yeah, different. Yeah.
I'd like to say that I have bridal telepathy, which I'm serious.
Very special.
I know, it's a gift. It's a gift. I'll have a bride sit in front of me, and I'm like, shh, don't say anything. Don't say anything. You want a black and white wedding with touches of gold. They're like, oh my God, how did you know? I'm like, I could just tell, girl. I could just tell. So, like, I'm usually able to, like, when I meet with someone face to face, I usually am extrapolating, like, their aesthetic, their design, their fashion choices, just their overall mood. If they seem timid, I'm not going to do bright colors. If they're they're like more shy, I'd probably do like lighter colors, so it just kind of depends. If they're wearing a lot of gold jewelry, I'm going to assume they're going to probably want some gold accents and things. So these are things that I've been able to extrapolate from meeting, but honestly, like, I can just meet with someone and I'm like, oh, I know what you want. So I would say 95% of the time. There's always that 5% where they're like, no, that's not what I want. I'm like, oops, sorry, okay, never mind. So
that's awesome. So, like, so do you work with wedding planners, or do?
Yes, I do. I work hand in hand with wedding planners. Right. They are the ones that bring the clients. Lots of times they do a lot of the homework, which definitely helps because they'll help with, like, okay, you need to have X, Y, and Z before you meet Sadia. You need to have an idea of what you want, and you need to, like, tell me about it. And those types of things definitely help. It also gives me kind of like a guideline already. They've done a lot of the homework for me. So it gives me a guideline, and I just kind of take it to the next level. Like, awesome. I'm not just going to copy that. I'm just going to take it to the next level. Yeah.
No, that's
right. No, that's great, because they already know the couple pretty well. So how does a couple actually go about selecting an event designer if they want one and want one for their wedding, basically?
I would go by a few things. I would go by your general connection with that person. If you, like, trust them, if you feel like they got your aesthetic, depending on how important it is to you. Because, some people just want, like, they don't care too much, but, like, for me, it's obviously an important thing. So I would suggest, if you have a good connection with this person has a good understanding, they're a legitimate business, they're working from an actual business location, not like from their home. No offense to people that do it from their home, but usually when you're doing Indian weddings, there are like 300, 400 people. You want someone who has proper refrigeration for flowers, that they have proper, like, storage, and that they have an actual team behind them as opposed to anything else. So a legitimate business that has, good reviews, who have good testimonials, that has a funny, like, a, good looking Instagram as well too, if you want, even though mine needs some help right now, but, but, like, I would definitely suggest, also someone who values your time and your design as well too. Like, oh, it's not just, 2 columns on a stage with the swag in the middle. It's something a little bit more elaborate than that, you know?
Do most brides like get pretty heavily involved in once they decide to work with you, or is there like a spectrum? Yeah,
It's definitely a spectrum. Definitely a spectrum. Some are very involved and have meticulous lists. You know, I am one of, just a little side note, I'm actually one of five siblings in my family, and they're all girls, right? So I feel like I had like this advantage in life that I was able to get along with every type of personality. So, like, you know, I have like the type A personality who's very analytical and makes like lists and Excels and things like that. And then I have like the laid back, you know, the laid back tomboy. And then I have like the pretty princess that wants bows and pink things everywhere. So like I'm able to handle all these types of personalities and such.
so important,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one other thing, Sadia, I was wondering about is when people like brides and grooms, they see like all these beautiful pictures on Pinterest and everything looks so luxurious, and I know everybody likes luxurious decor, but how does a couple know if they can actually afford it and if it's worth their money based on where they are?
Well, I guess it just comes down to what they value, but we
Okay.
have a simple math problem. For like, we basically have broken it down. For every 100 people, it's you spend this much, right? For a simple event. For a more extravagant event, for 100 people, you spend this much. You know? Do you want me to say the amounts?
It's up to you. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I think.
Yeah. So usually on the simpler end, for every 100 people, you're spending at least $5,000, right? On the more extravagant event, like where it gets a little bit more, it's about ten to $15,000 for every 100 people. So if you're having 200 people and you want it to be a little bit more, more not simple. When I say simple, I mean small centerpieces or like not too crazy of a stage. Then and you want it to be more elaborate, then you're looking to spend like $20,000, $30,000. So they kind of know those numbers off the top, so they're not so like surprised about these
Sure.
things. So
Yeah.
yeah, and weddings
Right.
are expensive, and that's the matter of fact
Right.
of like that's the way it is that yes, they are expensive. This is what you've been
Mhm.
saving up for, is having a beautiful wedding. If you care for that. If you don't, I have no problem doing something smaller and simpler for you. That's not an issue. It's just about your expectations lining up with your budget, and that seems to be the biggest conundrum for me.
That's interesting.
Got it. So do you? Sorry, I'm trying to get to my next train of thought. So what are some of the timeless setups or decor styles that pretty much look great all the time?
I would say the
And I know it takes away from your uniqueness, but
no,
I want to still,
I mean,
yeah.
it honestly depends, because I think Mother Nature is the best designer. So
Mm.
I think that going with something where it's very simplistic in the sense that it's just white roses, but it's a lot of white roses, looks beautiful with just greenery. That's the way that they grow. And right now we're seeing a resurgence of like botanical florals. So that's definitely the aesthetic. I think that's kind of popping out now is more of that botanical organic look as opposed to very constructed. Now I do both, so it's not an issue, but it just kind of depends on aesthetic and everything. But yeah, like white roses with greens look really good. What else would I say? Sometimes people just like ivory. It just depends. It honestly depends, but those types of looks where it's like golds and some whites and some green, you can look at it in 20 years and be like, oh, it's still beautiful. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. That's what, yeah. Do the couples typically match their outfits too? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Just a
they
question that
do. They
popped up.
do. It's
Okay.
also helpful as
Okay.
well, because you want to consider how a bride and groom are going to look, because it's all about the stage. I don't know if they do that on the East Coast, but for
Right.
sure on the West Coast, for sure on the West Coast, it's very much of a Rani Raja type of situation where it's all about the stage, and you want to make
Stage,
sure
yeah.
that your couple is corresponding with the stage, not being overpowered by it or not being, like like
Mm.
hidden by it as well too. So I definitely take all of that into consideration when it comes to coordinating colors and complementing colors and, you know, matching colors.
Right. So
Yeah,
is
I
there
always
things
ask for a
that
picture of their outfit. Hmm?
that's awesome? Yeah, I didn't think about that. If they would match the outfit with
Hmm.
because I'm not
Yeah, we don't
creative.
want to make it look like as well, like that the bride like rolled around in her lehenga, you know, all over the ballroom too. So
No.
it's kind of a fine line.
So what can like people
Yeah.
do like from a fun like for like the guests like what is like a fun event decor thing that people can do?
Well, I think people need to remember that 80% of what people remember from their wedding is entertainment. Supposedly, this is the statistics I've been told. So for
You
me,
believe in
I
it?
seem to remember the food, but
Yeah.
food and decor. But they also say entertainment as well. So I consider having interactive escort card tables, which are like assigned seating where the guests can get a piece of paper that says like, you know, it says their name written on like a piece of paper. Like those days are gone. Like you need to be more creative than that. You need to have installations where it's hanging suspended, you know, suspended leaves, and on each leaf it's gold calligraphy, hand calligraphy with the person's name. I'm doing a wedding that's by the beach and he's a surfer, and I'm getting custom mini surfboard keychains for every single person. And those are going to be
That's so
calligraphied and they're going to
cute.
be in sand. So like, you know, those types of things are like, oh wow, this is nice. And it's a keepsake too, you know? So those types of things
Yeah.
are like fun, and they're a little bit more different, and people remember that and they remember your event. And I think that's the best thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree. I mean, food is definitely I know it's top of the list for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
food's definitely top of the list. And also doing really nice dessert tables. Like I started doing dessert
Mhm.
tables when people weren't doing desserts,
Mm.
and I'm like, you need to have more desserts, girl. Like, you know, and then when I started doing desserts tables, like that trend started happening that people had all these like fancy candy
Okay.
tables and dessert tables. And you know, now it's kind of like you have to have desserts. I feel, at least in my events, you have to
Sure.
have elaborate dessert displays. They can't just be rasmalai and, you know, gulab jamuns in a chafing dish. That just doesn't cut it anymore. You got to do those pastries. You got to do those petit fours. You got to do, you know, like the cookie stations with little milk shots. Like those are the things you got to do because people really enjoy them. But you also have to see like if you're drinking, like for Hindu weddings or Punjabi weddings, sometimes they drink a lot. You have to see like the alcohol consumption compared to that, and you know, see what's fun.
Right.
Right. People want a place to take pictures, you know. Desserts are typically, I've seen a lot of people, like guests taking pictures next to the dessert
Exactly. Yeah.
tables. So I think it's
Yeah,
definitely a
definitely.
trend.
And like
Yeah.
photo backdrop areas are also, they've been big. Like we live in a narcissistic society. That's just the way of the game. And that's fine. And so definitely branding your event is going to be important. So branding your event from the get go. Like I'm a big stickler where the invitation matches the menus that match the table numbers, you know, that all should be like a consistent string from the get go that gives
Trend.
your guests like a little teaser for what to expect in the future.
So do you feel like there's never ever like a
Right.
conflict between like what you're trying to do versus what the wedding planner is trying to do?
Yeah, there is, but we have to respect each other, and we have to respect each other. And I always listen to the wedding planner, and I always hope that they would listen to me. I would never tell them anything about a timeline, like, oh, have it done this, da, 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 you
I
know.
see. Yeah.
But I would tell them, hey, I need this much time, so you need to factor that in. You know, like I
Right.
need this much time to finish this. Like that's not like for me to finish a changeover, like changing over ceremony to stage is not going to happen in 20 minutes. It's going to happen in an hour, hour and a half, you know?
Right.
So we have to respect that. And I mean, I would say 99%, you know, have always been very, very respectful. And I always tell people you need a wedding planner. You know,
Mhm.
it makes everyone's
Mm.
life easier, including like
Sure.
the couple. Why don't you want to enjoy your wedding day? Do you really want to be
Exactly.
running around and all that? Like, and again, getting a reputable wedding planner, not just someone that shows up on the day of, having someone beforehand read over the contracts and tell you this is not realistic, this is realistic, because again, people need to realize, like, realign their hopes and dreams with like their budget and their timeline and, you know, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to dig a little deeper on the
Right.
branding thing. I thought it was pretty cool of you to mention that. So,
Mhm.
what can you tell us a little bit more? Like, what does branding entail?
So I'll give you an example for my wedding. And I got married like 3 years ago or something. And I made a monogram for my, like, I started it from the get go. That monogram, it's S&A, it looks beautiful. I have, on the pamphlets, how do I describe it? On my invitations themselves, I actually had like a leather case over my invitation, and it was binded with copper. And I had an impress, like a blind emboss of my monogram in the corner. A very modern invitation, marble paper, velvet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was very rose gold at the time, and super sleek. And then I used that design and that monogram and the marble and everything on the printing on the day of the event. So the printing on the parking signs, to, like, Sadia and Aiden's wedding this way, all of that just said, like, it all basically was my identity. It was his identity. It was very much our aesthetic. It set the tone for the whole mood. Like I use those same colors as what I use throughout the event. So I think, and then you can also have it on like your dance floor. So I think creating that brand for yourself as a couple is definitely important in setting your tone and setting your, aesthetic and design. And what's nice is when you give like your thank you cards and stuff afterwards, you can get those, that same monogram on your thank you cards and send that out to everyone. And everyone knows, okay, this is them. This is this couple's brand, Yeah.
Right. It's interesting for the couples too. They discover themselves, I think, by this process, I feel, because I'm sure nobody has done this together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. So, Sadia, tell me a little bit about what type of venues do typically benefit from event decor services, like event decor, because there are many venues, like example destination weddings, 5-star hotels, even normal
I can't
venues.
think of a location that doesn't benefit from decor. Not saying that every location needs it, but I think every location does need it. So, ballrooms definitely, because they're so generic. Having decor, creating an environment is definitely important. My whole thing is creating environments. I like to submerge the guests in a memory that they won't forget. I want them to smell it. I want them to feel it, sense it, and like all of that. So those are, by enacting all of your senses, I think it makes it more memorable, because, in this day and age, we don't remember much. So my job is basically to evoke those senses and extrapolate those types of emotions and moments, and creating moments and such. So definitely, I would say ballrooms and if you're picking a historical building, then I would not suggest you draping it all and covering up all of like the carved like wood mirrors and stuff like that. Like, accentuate that, add to it. There's a way of enhancing it. Just how in your house it's probably decorated in a certain way, adding fresh florals can definitely liven up the room and change the vibe. So I think every place can definitely benefit from it, but you have to be in line with the aesthetic that your location is at. When it comes to like hotels, I think it's a little bit more transformative. Like, you can totally drape it and carpet it and add an installation and make it look like, like just like another Taj Mahal or something. But it's kind of, it's up to you and your designer to discuss that and design something that's unique.
Right. So how do you end up ensuring that the decor, do you need some water? Or,
okay.
No problem.
Sorry.
How can you ensure that, how do you end up ensuring that the decor looks and feels different at each event, but yet there's that cohesiveness, throughout the wedding?
Every client gets attention, right? So I try to be very organized with every client, and we develop a color scheme, we develop an aesthetic, and we stick to it. So things that conflict with it, we don't insert those in. I'll say that's very traditional and this is very modern, and it won't look good. And I'll flat out say it, and some people might get offended. And I really don't care because I don't want to put my name on it. So that's, and it's not that I don't care. It's just that, I want to make sure that everything is cohesive. That's very much what my job is to make sure that the flowers I'm selecting to the containers I'm selecting are all good. And I show them to my clients. We do a sample mock-up where they come to my office and we put the linen out. We put the centerpiece out. I hand sketch almost all of my designs on my iPad, and I show them to them, this is what we have in mind for you. This is how the stage is going to look. This is the color of the linen. This is the mock-up of the dance floor. So they can see all of it put together and be like, okay, yes, I love this, or oh my God, I hate this. Let's change this. So it's definitely, it can go both ways and stuff, but by having a sample meeting beforehand, and discussing even before that, we actually have mid-design meetings, which I don't think a lot of people do, but we do a mid-design meeting where we actually discuss, has anything changed? Are you having a change of heart? That sort of thing. So
right.
We're able to come up with a consistent look that they're happy with and that we're happy with. But every now and then, I'll tell you something. Every now and then, client will insist on adding something ugly. And I'm the type to be like, oh, that's not going to happen. But I have another designer on my team that's like, oh, no, it's your dream wedding. We're going to make it happen. I'm just like, oh, God, I don't want blue orchids on this. So,
and then
you have to make someone happy at the end of the day.
Oh, I see. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I understand. They want to add their little personal touch that ends up ruining the vision that you have.
Yeah, it's not just the vision that I have. It's just also being like, oh, that's severely outdated, So that's just kind of a thing too. But I try unique ways to incorporate all of that so it looks good.
Right. Yeah. So I know you mentioned about having that refrigerator, or to keep. I'm sorry, I'm butchering all these terms, but to keep the florals fresh and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So how can do you feel like hiring an event designer is location dependent, or is it possible? I mean, I was just curious because even shipping costs, for example, to ship all the decor or the setup from the wedding isn't
Well, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
A good event designer can go anywhere and do their work. So I've been able to do, I've been fortunate enough to do weddings in Chicago, and I'm located in Southern California. Right. But I have the connections and the know-how to be able to go to Chicago. Sorry. 1 second. Okay. I have the connections and the know-how to be able to go to Chicago and be able to get fresh florals from the best place, and get the refrigerated truck, and get a ballroom and set it up. I'm able to do that,
Right.
So
right.
I think it depends on your company's capabilities.
Right.
I myself have been to Chicago. I've been to Arizona. We go up north all the time, I've also even done a wedding in Mauritius. And the reason is because design, like I said, design's in my blood, right?
Right.
When I got off the plane, it was I did a wedding for I think it was 1,800 people in Mauritius, which is off the coast of Africa. It was my cousin's husband. My husband's cousin.
1,800 people.
And I was oh, he can do that. Yeah, 1,800 people, maybe 2,000. I don't remember.
Wow,
it was all a blur. But I remember when I got off the plane, and we're driving and we're seeing things. I saw where the floral mart is. So I said, hey, I need to go there. I need to get these things. And then, and I literally, I was just confident American girl just walking around in a foreign country, be I want these and I want that and da 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 da. And then, we made it happen, and it was totally different. And it was beautiful. So, yeah. So I think it can be depending on what your capabilities of your designer is and how ambitious they are. Because some people like to stay local, and I don't hate on that. Most of our bread and butter is local, but we do those big events every now and then that are that are farther down, that are farther away, that are 500 miles away. And we're definitely capable, and we love doing them. They're actually a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, cool. No, Sadia, so I know you're a very creative person, like by all the work you've done. So what makes, I mean, we know what makes you different, but what are you mostly inspired by in your work? What is one thing that inspires you
Definitely nature
daily?
inspires me, but I always say that the couple's love for each other always inspires me. When I see like a cutesy like couple that comes in and like, the guy is doting over the girl and she's just like, whatever you want, babe. Like, it's so cute. And I was like, that's so cute. And I want to make something for them. When people are nice, like this is a huge takeaway. When you brides and grooms are nice to your vendors, we will go above and beyond for you. When you're like critical and
So
you're like
important.
breaking things down and da-da-da, it's not like we're not going to do our job. We'll do our job, but you're making us kind of hate our job at one point, if you're going to keep trying to like tell it, micromanage us.
Yeah.
You're hiring a professional for those reasons where they're able to get your dream and make it happen, and listen to them if they're saying that sofa is too big for that stage, or this is too not going to happen. Like you listen to them. If you're going to go against them and things don't happen the way that you want to happen, like you want it, then like it's at the end of the day we're gonna try to make you happy. But if what you want isn't going to make you happy, oh sorry, it's not our fault. So
Totally, because it's not a transaction, right? It's fun for both of them. Yeah. So Sadia, where can as we wrap up this session, this was really informative. I think we could go on and on, but tell us where can people learn more about you and your work, and how can they get in hold of you?
Our website is www.hellokismet, that's KISMET.com. And you can follow us on our Instagram, Hello Kismet as well. You can follow me personally on my own personal Instagram called it's miss.kismet, miss.kismet. And yeah, you can follow me there.
Okay.
I also share a lot of my cooking tips. So that's also informative as well too. Yeah.
Definitely. I will have the your links and the Instagram accounts
thank you.
under the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Thanks
Thank
so much.
you.
Is there anything else you want to mention?
No, I mean, pick flowers that are in season. That's what I would suggest. Everything, especially in this day and age with like how the environment is, picking flowers that are in season and that are local are definitely going to help create less of a footprint on the world. But yeah, I don't know. That was it. That's all I can think of.
Can I ask one question for that? So what happens to the flowers after the wedding? I'm sure Kunal guessed this question. But what happens to the flowers after the wedding? Because it always hurts my heart to see, like, after people are gone, the flowers are sitting there.
So we offer all the flowers to our clients and their guests and such after the wedding. And then what we also do is every now and then when there's a lot of flowers, we're able to actually give them to nursing homes and hospices. And it's just so nice. And the reason why we got that idea is because someone came up, like a nurse came up to us and she's like, I work at a hospice or a hospital. And she was like, can you imagine like waking up when no one comes to see you. And then all of a sudden there's fresh flowers there for you. Like it really brightens up a patient's day. So when she told me that, I was like, okay, I'll make this happen. So whatever we get the chance to, we try to recycle. We try to recycle flowers as much as possible.
Flowers, yeah.
Spread the love.
Cool. Yeah, nice.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. This was awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Indian Wedding Podcast. For more exclusive time and money-saving tips, head over to sampatjewelers.com/podcast.